Hey everybody, this is Robin with Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in beautiful San Diego, California, where it's looks like it's kind of overcast today and a little cooler than our usual, but we can live with that. I think we're like 62 or something like that. But it was great weather this morning. I did a whole bunch of gardening outside and just trying to make sure I'm live here. And it's basically perfect gardening weather. So hopefully it's nice where you are. Shout out where you're coming from as you get in and what's your weather like. So a few little announcements today. I am just really excited about May 6th when y'all can buy everything, and when I can buy everything in the catalog. There's been some things that I've really been missing that we didn't get to pre-order, things like in color ribbon. I'm really excited about being able to use that, and also all the new online exclusives. Today we're working with something from the new catalog, but the May online exclusives are amazing, so be sure before you order to check those out. And also be sure before you order to opt into the new rewards program so that when you're ordering, you can get 10% off your next order based on the order today, as long as it's over $20. As far as upcoming classes go, my next Oasis class in Rancho Bernardo is May 9th at 10 in the morning, and we're going to be doing sympathy cards. So the people who come to Oasis have to be over, I think it's 55, and I don't know how many of you are, but as I get older, I seem to be using more sympathy, or my favorite for sympathy is actually thinking of you, because, and I actually use thinking of you for other things too, because it's not just a sympathy, but I just kind of like that better. So anyway, May 9th, and we are going to be using today the Florals and Bloom Suite, and that's what my class is going to be in May. If you want to take it here, it's May 18th at 1 o'clock. I can send you, otherwise you can do it at home. I can send you all the supplies you're going to need to make the 4 cards and a PDF. It's just $35 for everything, plus you get a half a pack of the Floral and Bloom DSP and a full pack of the 25 to 27 new in color flat pearls, and we're going to be using both of those today. And then if you want to add on the stamp set, either of the stamp sets in the suite or the bundles, I'm going to be sending you those at cost, and meaning no added shipping or tax, so that's exciting. Now, something else really exciting, oh, I gotta find my card, hold please, is I'm now a member of something that we're calling the Papercraft Collective, and I'm on the design team for that. And what that is a group of 7 really highly experienced paper crafters, and one of which is a former artisan team member, so that gives you the level of what we're doing here. And every month we are going to be using a new bundle or suite of products, and each developing a card using that suite of products. And for everybody who purchases $50 or more from me, you will get access to PDF with all the measurements and 7 individually made videos showing you how to put the cards together. So all I'm allowed to do is show you my card. So this is my card for the Papercraft Collective. And I don't know if you can even tell what the bundle is, because, or the suite, it's the celebratory Sips suite with the Cheers and Sips bundle, the one with all the drinks and such. And I decided to use some things that were in the bundle, or in the suite, but kind of things you can overlook. So for instance, there's this beautiful set of embossing folders, and in fact we're going to use one of those today. and just the little flowers and such. And this ribbon that actually looks like this, it's gold edged kind of clear ribbon, and I colored it with the blends. So that's my card, and the only way you get to know how I made that is by buying something $50 or more from me in the month of May, and I will send you that tutorial. So that's pretty exciting. All right, so I'm gonna put you down here. Oh, one more thing. I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek at my Florals in Bloom class. So here are some of the cards we're going to be making. Isn't that a really cool fun fold? And here's another fun fold, and it opens like that. Still need to, oh no, I did finish the inside finally. And this one that we've made before. And I don't know if the one I'm making today is going to be one of them or not, because I haven't totally decided that yet. So let's put you down here so that we can talk once again about the Florals in Bloom Suite. And you know, it is the one that's featured on the front cover, but it's also, there's a huge spread. It's page 40 to 47 for this whole thing. So there's a lot going on. So this is what they call a mega suite, because there are two bundles. The Pretty Florals bundle, which just has all these 2 or 3 step stamps, the dies to cut them out, and whoops, stay on there. I write, when I put these on these magnet sheets, I write on here how many they are, and I try to remember to count them every time, so that I don't lose them. And then the sweet blooms that have these terrific double letters, like in here, that we used to make that one before. And the 25 to 27 in color dots, and the paper. And I think I've showed you this paper before. I'm in love with it. Each one is just as pretty as the last. And they have some really, I guess it's the easiest way to do it, pretty small little prints on the back. Most of them coordinate pretty well with what's on the front. Not all of them. I don't think that one really coordinates. But aren't those just really beautiful? All right, so here, whoops, is the card that we're going to be making today. And like I said, I'm using both sets of in the bundle here. Just realized I had to go grab something or we weren't going to be making this. Anyway, so let's just kind of get started with it. One of the things that I'm noticing is I'm really enjoying the Secret Sea, which is this bluish black. I know it kind of ends up looking black on the camera, but it's more blue, but it also has a little bit of undertones of green here. So we're going to start by doing all this stamping first, I think, because there's something really important I want to teach you guys. This is why I decided to do this. So on this card, I don't know what all this junk is, it's suddenly sticking to it. I stamped the word lovely and cut it out. And the reason I wanted you to do this card with you is because I first had a terrible time doing this. So I couldn't get anything to line up with the dies. See how that didn't line up at all? This one was close, but everything was a little bit too high. I kept repositioning my stamp with the little lovely on here. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this is the way to do this. So this is what I wanted to teach you. What you do is you take this word, and I haven't really used the Bloom one yet, so I can't really tell you if the Bloom one was as difficult to work with as this one. And there's two dies that say the words. One will have skinny things, skinny letters, and this one will go over this other one. And this is the fatter one, and that's the one we're going to use today. So what you do is you die cut out that word lovely. Hey Carolyn, hey Louise, hey Claudia, good to see everybody. Let's not lose that because we're going to do it. And then you take your little word here and you put it right in there, because this is what's going to be cutting this out. Now, I know that it seems like, oh, this shouldn't be a big deal, but let me tell you, it was a big deal when I figured out that I could do this and then have it perfectly able to be cut out, because like I said, I kept moving that little thing on the Y around here. So let's go ahead and stamp that, and then we can cut it out. So this, you need a big block. This is an E block. So you need an E or F block to do this. And when I have a big one like this, I like to turn the stamp itself upside down on here. Oh my God, this is going to be another one like this. Getting it on my finger. So you can see this is a 4 by 5.5 piece of white, and you can see this word is taking up most of that. All right, and so I'm going to move this before I stick my finger in it again, and we are going to cut this out. And you can see on here that this is going to cut it perfectly. Why? Because of what we did. So line up your Y. You can't see that down there, but if that's lined up, it'll be fine. Okay, so that's how we're going to cut it out. So let's do that. Obviously, I'm going to have to reline it up here once I get it on the machine. Come on. All right, and I'm going to need that machine again. You'll see that it's perfectly lined up now, as opposed to all those other ones that didn't line up so perfectly. Okay, so put that aside, and we are going to do some more stamping with this Secret C. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this 2-step, I guess it's 3-step. And this one here is from the other set, the Pretty Florals set. This one, and you'll notice this one goes with 2 different sets of flowers. So there's one. And then I'm using this set of flowers because it kind of matches the flowers that are on the paper that we're using. And the other thing I wanted you to understand, this one I'm going to stamp off to the side here. This is, what am I using here? Summer Splash. I'm stamping it off. You can't really see that. But the other reason I wanted to show you this is you're going to have to line up these so they're sitting on that little thing. And my suggestion is put it on there as if you think it's going to be too low, because it won't. Because otherwise your flowers kind of float a little bit, and we don't like floating flowers here. Same with this one. Make it feel like you are doing it a little bit too low, and it'll be perfect. Now, I found out there isn't a die to cut this whole flower out, which is interesting. The die either cuts out the bottom or the top, and I didn't feel like doing that, so we are going to do a little fussy cutting here. I'm going to try to be a little fast, so don't get too upset if it's not perfect, guys. And remember, you're moving the paper more than you're moving your scissors. I don't know why it took me to being in Stampin' Up to learn this. I don't know. They acted like this is something I should have learned in kindergarten. And I don't know about you guys, but I did not learn this in kindergarten. I learned this once I started crafting with Stampin' Up. I can't remember who I saw that then I went, oh, that definitely makes it easier to do. Whoops, that wasn't so good. Like I said, I'm trying to be a little faster than I would if I was by myself here crafting, because I think it's kind of boring watching people cut out things. But it's actually pretty easy to fussy cut that. All right, so we got that, and then I have a little, just half-inch piece of basic beige. I actually save these little pieces just for this kind of thing, and then I kind of go, oh, I got just the thing. That's not what I want. I want that summer splash back again. And then we're saying have a lovely day, and I put the have in the day on the same block, and then we can just cut in between them. That, oh, Robin, that wasn't the greatest. I don't know why. Sometimes with words on this glass mat, I have a little problem with stamping. I don't have a problem with anything big, but sometimes the words, sometimes I think I press too hard. There we go, that's much better. Okay. Oh, I know what I forgot too. I need something for the inside, and I'm going to stamp these flowers again. So before we put everything away, this is just a 3 3/4 by 5. You get 2 chances now with flowers, and you could even, you know, put them on your envelope too. All right, where did I put it? Okay, there we go. And again, I'm using this solid one, and where you can't see me, sorry, I'm just stamping off. And again, put them down a little closer than you would want it, than it seems to be. And yes, that's a little darker, but guess what? Once you put this on top of it, it's not going to matter. In fact, it kind of looks cool that you have this variation in color. You see that? Because I thought, oop, that's a boo-boo, but not really. All right, I think we may be done with stamping. We can cut these apart. I just need to make sure I don't lose them. You guys ever done that? Oh, I do it all the time. Okay, and the final thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 2 1/4 by 5 1/4 piece of peach pie, and we are going to run it through a what's going to be a brand new embossing folder. So let me just show you these. This is a 2-pack. It's actually part of the celebratory sips. Remember this one that I showed you? This card that's part of my paper craft team. And you get 2. You get this one called, they're both called Glass and Gardens. I guess this is more the glass. You see, hopefully you can see that. That's on the new cloud cover, and this is the one we're going to use. And then the other one is the garden. So you have both of those, and these will fit in a in your small machine. But since I had my other one here, I'll be using that one. So I kind of like having this little top part. So I do want to make sure that we have that. Now this is not a 3D embossing folder. So when I put this on here, if it's a 3D one, I will put 3D on there so that I remember what to use with it. Hey Tammy, glad you could join us. So let's bring this back. And with the 3D ones, I've just taken out that little white one that goes underneath here, or excuse me, with the non-3D ones. So you use the 2 clear plates and the base plate. And always with all of these, if you start running it through and it doesn't run through nice and smooth like this, then you're doing something wrong. Just stop. Stop, read the, you know, that's why I love this little thing. I mean, I use this all the time to make sure. You can see somebody didn't. But just make sure everything's like it's supposed to be. All right, so now I think we have all our components ready and we can put our card together. So we've got a Secret C 8.5 by 5.5 that is scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to fold that in half. And we can put our inside piece in. Isn't that just so pretty? And it's pretty forgiving when you put those little secondary ones on, and I don't think you even noticed that I didn't do as good a job on my first one, and my blooms were floating a little bit. But this one I did a better job. Okay, so next I'm using this piece from our floral, oh gosh, what's it called? Florals in Bloom, DSP. We've got our cloud cover in here. We've got our Secret Sea. This is Peach Pie, and that's the Summer Splash. And honestly, I'm not sure I would have put all those colors together if Stampin' Up hadn't done that for me. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have our Glass and Garden embossed piece. And that's just kind of going in the middle. And then let's kind of lay out how we're going to do this. Now, there we go. This I decided I wasn't going to put up on any dimensionals because I thought it would just be too difficult. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue. Now, if I'm the other one is even thinner than this. So if I would, so notice I'm just using some teeny tiny little dots on different areas. You do not have to get glue everywhere. Then you do not have to have a ton of glue. You just have to have enough that it's going to stay on. Because you don't want it gushing out. That's the worst. I was just going to say it's hard to get things straight when I'm doing this above, but then I realized there's a line here for on that embossing folder that just made it a little easier. All right, so these I did put up on some dimensionals. You can tell I'm using them at the very end of a packet, but I actually love using these pieces that are on the edges. Have a lovely day. And I can, whoops, that's not it. I could see you could use that even as a I don't know, something for a wedding even. Well, that one's gone. Let's get a whole new one here. Dimensionals, I don't know. I can't make a card without dimensionals. It's just one of those things. You need the dimensionals. I love embossing folders too, because they just give you a little something extra that makes it special, that people aren't going to have if they're just, you know, buying a card. And then we're going to take those in color dots. And I decided to use the cloud cover ones. You can see they're all 5 colors. Strawberry Slush. What's this one again? Oh, this is the one I can never remember. Darling Duckling. I always know if there's a duck involved. Timid Tiger, Cloud Cover, and our Secret Sea. And I decided to use the cloud cover ones because that was the other color in here that I hadn't used yet. All right, and they are in 3 different sizes, so I decided I was going to use one of each of these. So there's the biggest. There's the baby one. And there's the middle one all the way over here. And I did put them kind of in the middle of one of these. Hope everybody has a take your pick tool. I think this thing is amazing. I like to use the little putty end for picking these up, but you can also, sometimes I'll use this end and you just poke it underneath there, especially if my embellishments are old and they're just sticking a little bit too hard. And I like the pokey end for poking out things that I've cut that may or may not have gone as desired. Okay, one more thing, almost forgot. So I have some of the Summer Splash and the Peach Pie ribbon, and I actually couldn't decide which one I wanted to use on here, so I decided, I wonder if I can use both of them together, and guess what? You can. So I just tied a little knot. And then snip the ends a little bit. Make that one behind just a little bit bigger so that it'll show a little bit. And then we'll get, so here's another thing with that take your pick tool. It's absolutely perfect for picking up mini glue dots. And if you don't need it to be, you know, big the whole size, while you've got it like this, you can, you know, smush it a little bit when it's on here. Whoops. Now it's on my finger. I don't know why, but let's try that again. Stay. Pretend it's the dog. You know, and I was saying how I'm looking forward to May 6th because one of the things I'm really missing having is this ribbon, and it seems like it looks a little similar to the ribbon that I'm using today, and it'll be in all the in colors, and we weren't able to pre-order that just yet. Anyway, so what do you guys think? I think this is lovely. And I don't know, you tell me, should we make this card when I make my 4 with everybody? But hopefully some of you will come and enjoy it. And otherwise, oh, I know, the other thing I forgot to say is if anybody wants to do my paper share for $41, you get a quarter pack of 11 different pieces of paper. Some are from the annual catalog, and some are from the online exclusives that start May 6th. So email me at stampwithdrrobin@gmail.com if you're interested. I can send you the whole list. Let's put you up for a sec. And say I'll see you next week. And once I get to it, this will all be in writing with measurements and everything on my blog, which is stampwithdrrobin.blogspot.com, and I'll upload it to my Stamp with Dr. Robin YouTube too. So take care, everybody. Have a great day. One last look. Whoops. Bye-bye.